What is up, everybody, and welcome back. Hope everyone enjoyed that incredible Sunday round at the Masters. Still can't believe everything that transpired over those last 5 hours. I mean, Rory McIlroy had the two-shot lead heading into Sunday over Bryson DeChambeau. Ends up doubling the first hole, so you're thinking, oh no, Rory's going to blow it right out of the gates. Then after number two, I mean, he barely saved par and Bryson birdied. So all of a sudden we were thinking, okay, this is Bryson's Masters to lose. And then all of a sudden, Rory charges back. He ends up having a 5-shot lead heading into the 11th tee, ends up getting really lucky on his approach shot, almost went into the water. Couldn't get it up and down, but still, we felt pretty comfortable about his chances, especially after number 12, didn't hit it in the water. And then number 13, I mean, he decides to not go for it in two, ends up laying up to the perfect spot. So we're thinking, okay, he's going to hit this pretty close. Ends up hitting that wedge shot in the water, ended up double bogeying the hole. And then from there on, it was just up and down. I mean, Rose kept making birdies. Rory kept, hitting great iron shots and then missing close birdie looks. He missed a close birdie or close eagle on 15. And then obviously couldn't get up and down on 18, went to the playoffs, ended up getting the job done. So congrats to Rory for winning that Grand Slam. It was a lot of fun to watch. One of the more memorable Sundays I've ever had watching a golf tournament. So whether you're a Rory fan or not, it was a really fun Sunday. Now, typically we have a hangover after, a major because typically there aren't that many big names in the field. But we do have a signature event this week. So a lot of the big names are going to be playing. Almost all the big names except for Rory are actually playing this week. And there's 72 golfers in the field. There's not going to be a cut. I still wish that we could have at least a little bit of a cut to get some more sweat on Friday. But still, we have a pretty good field, pretty good event. It's RBC Heritage. This has been one of my favorite, non-big events over the years because the course is a little bit unique and it just seems a little bit more predictable than most. So Harbor Town Golf Links is a par 71, measures over 7,200 yards. Certainly not a bomber's course by any means, like most Pete Dye designs. This is the course where you got to be accurate off the tee. And it's more about total driving, distance from the edge of the fairway, being on the right side of the hole. So certainly not a course that you can overpower. With driver being less of a weapon here compared to most PGA Tour venues, you're going to see an emphasis on approach play, around the green play, and a little bit of putting too. You're going to see a lot of the grinder types that have really good course history here. Webb Simpson, he's not in this field, but he has played well here before. Brian Harmon, Matt Kuchar. So the plotter types, anyone can really play well and win here. But it kind of just shows that you don't have to be like this great driver of the ball to contend at Harbor Town. Now, this didn't used to be a signature event, so it used to have a lot weaker field. So take that and do it that way you will. But I do think course history does matter a little bit more than usual. In terms of the model, so I'm looking at 10% total to off the tee metrics. I ended up splitting it between off the tee and good drive percentage. I put a 12% weight on strokes gained approach. And again, you can break these down into different time periods. So you have the last 30 rounds, last 75 rounds, last 150 rounds. And that's for each of the individual statistics. So if you like to look at what happened, this year, you can maybe bump up the last 30 rounds. It's actually a max of 3 months. So anything that's happened in the last 3 months, max of 30 rounds, that's what's going to go in the last 30 rounds column. Then you have the last 75 rounds, which is a max of a year, up to 75 rounds. And then last 150 rounds is max of 2 years. The strokes gained expected column here is a metric that I come up with each and every week based on the Data Golf numbers that they put out. I basically take a look at strokes gained approach numbers from different buckets and then apply those to how many approach shots we think each golfer is going to hit from each bucket. And that's how I come up with this metric. So in terms of guys that I expect to gain the most strokes on approach, Scheffler, Henley, Hovland, Hoagie, and Justin Thomas. We have greens and regulation, which I don't mind including in the model this week. I have it at 0%. But again, the greens here are extremely small. So they are 3,700 square feet on average. Very tough to hit. That does make the guys that hit a lot of greens a little bit more viable this week. And it also places an emphasis on around the green, which is why I have it weighted at 8%. The putting, I have it at 7%. Birdie or better at 3%, bogey avoidance at 5%. If I'm weighting one or the other, I'm going to weight bogey avoidance over birdie or better percentage. Again, this is more of a accuracy precision type of test than it is, just bomb and gouge. So guys that can avoid bogeys, avoid all the water hazards on this course are going to be in good shape. Course history, I only have it 4%, but you can bump that up if you want to. In terms of the miscellaneous metrics that I'm looking at this week, I pull all these from the rabbit hole at BetSperts. If you want to sign up for it, we have a good deal. You can find that in the description or in any of the articles that I write on RotoGrinders each week. So guys that play the best on small green courses over the last 3 years: Scheffler, Xander, Morikawa, Cantlay, and JT. Guys that play the best on less than driver courses, because again, narrow fairways, a lot of dog legs on this course, a lot of overhanging limbs from the trees. So you're not going to be hitting a ton of drivers this week. You have Scheffler, Xander, JT, Henley, and Morikawa. The guys that play the best on Pete Dye Designs. He tends to have a lot of visually intimidating shots. So guys that are comfortable hitting those type of shots tend to play well on his courses. You have Scheffler, Xander, JT. I mean, a lot of the same names here. Poston and Patrick Cantlay. Now, Poston's been really good here. An interesting name for sure at 7,800. Then we have the cuts made and recent finishes. This is since the start of 2024 in terms of the cuts made, and then the last 10 weeks, how often golfers are playing, where they finished in each event. So I just started last week saying, instead of just doing the long-term form, weighting this and this, I'm just going to weight all of my long-term form in this, because they're the same metrics, they're just calculated differently. So it's over the same time period. But this is just how often they finish in the top 25% of the field, 10% of the field, 5% of the field. What this does is it helps negate golfers that may have like an extremely bad week or two in their statistical profiles. So their strokes gain metrics are going to look pretty bad because maybe they lost like 12 strokes to the field one week. So it's going to bring down this column, but at the same time, it's just these three here are just binary. So they either hit the mark or they didn't. So this helps capture a little bit more upside for those volatile golfers. Then we have just the raw strokes gained over the last 3 months, over the last 12 months. Have those each at 5%. Field strength, I have it at 7% just because this is a pretty strong field. So I don't want to weigh it too heavily. I kind of like weighing this a little bit more when we have really big fields. In terms of the overall ranking, Scheffler's obviously going to be number one at 87.6. Really nothing that you can say wrong about him. Number one in the stat model. Number one course history, small greens, less than driver, P-Tie courses. He's been solid pretty much across the board. Look at this top 5% finish rate. The problem I have with Scheffler is twofold. Number one, he's 13-1 on DraftKings, 14,000 on FanDuel. Number two, he's putting really well right now, and he's not winning. He hasn't won this year yet. Now he continues to have pretty good finishes, but if he just has like one bad week with the putter and the ball striking doesn't pick up, then we could get a floor performance from Scheffler, and it's just hard to start lineups with him. There's not a lot of great value plays that I feel comfortable with this week. So I like starting lineups with Morikawa. It doesn't project that worse, and he's a lot cheaper on both sides for me. A guy that has been extremely good. He hasn't won since 2023, but he's actually improved with the short game. He's turned one of his weaknesses into a strength. He's still one of the better iron players in the field, good total driver of the ball, pretty good course history. And last week's T14 could have been a lot better. He ended up gaining 7.4 strokes ball striking and ended up losing on and around the green. So a guy that I think is a really good course fit. 10-9 is a good starting point for me. I also like Russell Henley. For whatever reason, he just could not get things going on Thursday. Bounce back Friday, nearly made the cut. I think he was heading to 18. All he had to do was par to make the cut. Ended up bogeying it, missing it on the number. Still had one of the best rounds of the day on Friday. This is a much better course fit for him. He was coming off of a win at API. He's been playing great all year. 3 top 20s here in his last 4 starts. And again, great course fit for him. I like Xander. I think his T8 finish last week was encouraging, starting to play a little bit better. The ball striking numbers have been good. Patrick Cantlay, I continue to play him, but the short game's kind of let him down this year. He does have the elite course history. He does love P-Dye courses. So if you want to play him, no issue with him, but certainly not a core play for me. I think I prefer Henley and Morikawa to Cantlay up in that upper tier. I like JT in tournaments if he's not going to garner a bunch of ownership. Right now we have him about 10%. If you think about a guy that has, lead approach play, a lead around the green play, it's JT, number one in the field in strokes gained around the green over the last 75 rounds, top 5 iron player. I think it's a really good fit for him. I do like Tommy Fleetwood. So I was ended up betting him this week at 33-1. And it's kind of like, look, everything's a story until it isn't, right? Rory couldn't win the Masters until he did. Tommy Fleetwood, 7 wins on the European Tour, 0 on the PGA Tour. I think eventually he's going to get the job done. Perhaps, seeing Rory get that monkey off his back is going to help him get the monkey off his back and finally win on this side of the pond. So I do like Fleetwood. Again, another guy, good total driver, good iron player, good short game. And he's been awesome this year. He's been a top 20 machine. Last week, he lost 4.8 strokes putting. If not, he would have had a much better finish at the Masters. Connors has been great. This is typically the time where I hop off Connors because I like to play him at every event from API to the Masters. And again, 5 straight top 20s, pretty impressive play by him. But now he's expensive and high owned. I like him when he's cheap, and whether he's chalk or not, I typically like just Connors when he's cheaper. Sungjae finally showed some life last week with the T5. It was mostly short game. The ball striking numbers weren't great, so I don't know what to do with him. He does like P-type courses. He does like this course a lot, as you can see here, 4 top 25s in his last 4 starts. But I don't know what to do with him. Ludwig doesn't project well for me. I like him on bomber-heavy courses. He was also in the mix last week, which I don't love. So I'm going to be fading Ludwig. I'm going to be fading Justin Rose as well. Shane Lowry at 9,600 just feels a little overpriced. I think it's a decent enough course fit for him. And the T42 is kind of wild because he was in the top 5, most of the day Saturday. Ended up just having a terrible Sunday to fall all the way down the leaderboard. So one bad round really cost him. Aaron Rai, I think, is a good course fit. I like Denny. He's been playing well, good on these more tactical courses. Michael Kim's been playing great. Not the best course history here. I don't really know what to do with him at 7,500. I think he's going to be popular because he has been playing so well. Straka, interesting bounce back candidate. He just really struggled on Thursday, like a lot of the guys, but he does have 2 top 5s here in his last 3 starts. He was on my short list of outrights at 45-1. I think it's a really good number on him. I ended up going with Berger at the same price point. Another guy that's been super consistent this year. Pretty good track record at this course. Really good on P-Dye courses as well. So I do like Berger. I do like Straka. If you're building more of a balanced build, I think that is a pretty good way to start. Poston's got the good course history. Finau missed the cut last week. He's been really bad with the putter pretty much all year, but decent on P-Dye, decent on courses with small greens, and that's because he's so good around the green. So I don't mind on Finau at a very discounted price point. Harman's been playing great, coming off of the win at the Valero, and then T36 last week at the Masters. Doesn't seem like much, but that was his second best finish at the Masters in his career. So I don't mind playing some Harman. Keegan's fine. No interest in Day, McIntyre, Clark, Spawn, McNeely. If I'm going like cheap, 2 guys on my radar, I like Eric Cole at 6,400. He's one of those guys that he's not super consistent, but when he does flash, he tends to put good rounds together, and he's coming off of 3 straight top 30s. He's a guy that can get hot with the irons and the putter. And then I like Matt Kuchar. So he's been awesome here over the years. I know Matt Kuchar is kind of a flash from the past, but coming off of a T18 in Texas, unlike most of the guys in the field, he didn't play the Masters last week, so we don't have to worry about, him being tired after grinding out 4 rounds of a major. He's won here before. He's finished second. He's finished third. I think he's got 9 top 20s in his last 11 starts of this event. So Matt Kuchar, 6K at an event where you can't miss the cut, I think it's a pretty good value play. If he finishes, top 20, that'll do really good for your lineups. And, that does help you get to Scheffler or get to some of the 2-star type of builds. So that'll do it for this week. As always, appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button. It helps us bring you these free videos. If you want to check out the model, download it for yourself. Hit up RotoGrinders.com. You can sign up for a premium membership. And the model, you can customize it to your liking. You just play with the weights up top. And then all you do is click on the upload tab. And you can upload this right into the Lineup HQ and create lineups based on your own ratings, which, again, is so fun. So that's why I do this model. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you back here next week.